By way of added proof, I'd like to bring your attention to something we will cover again later in the chronology. This is from Bukhari, Volume 5, Book 59, number 733.
While Umar was talking to the people, Abu Bakr said, "Sit down, Umar," but he refused. So the people came to Abu Bakr and left Umar. Bakr said, "To proceed, if you used to worship Muhammad, then Muhammad is dead. But if any one of you used to worship Allah, then Allah is alive and shall never die."
Abu Bakr confirmed that Muslims
used to worship Muhammad.
Not out of respect, mind you. They worshipped Muhammad for the same reasons they would come to worship Allah. They feared him. They knew good Muslims would kill them the moment they stopped. Islam's first historian paints the drama this way.
Tabari. Bakr saw that Umar would not listen. He went forward. "I swear by the Lord of the Kaaba that Muhammad is gone. Those people who formerly worshipped Muhammad must know that the deity you worshipped is dead. Those who formerly worshipped Allah must know that Allah is still alive and immortal."
In death, Muhammad had given birth to the God he had created in life. They became separate and distinct for the first time. But that is not to say Muhammad didn't have help creating Islam. By his own admission, he was demon-possessed. His behavior and the testimony of his contemporaries confirmed it. He met with Satan, albeit disguised as Gabriel. And while most of the Koran is nothing more than Muhammad's whining, his threatening and seducing, some of it was inspired. Muhammad used Allah's black stone to satiate his cravings. Satan used it to deceive and damn mankind. Together, they were the demonic trinity. A harsh assessment? What other options do we have? Swimming in this sea of putrid immorality and grotesque criminality, confronted with such an onslaught of deceit, hatred, and violence, how can any other conclusion be drawn? There is no way to make 75 terrorist raids and the murder and enslavement of tens of thousands look godly. Piracy isn't good, nor is pedophilia, incest, or rape. Torturing people for money is bad. Armed with the evidence, the Islamic scripture, the verdict is undeniable. Islam was a demonic scam. The religion served a man and a beast, enabling them to lord over mankind, making beasts of men. The perverted founder of the perverse doctrine that forever enslaved the free and peace-loving Bedouins of Arabia proclaimed,
Quran 48:11, "The desert Arabs who lagged behind
in fighting
will say to you, Muhammad, we were engaged in looking after our flocks and our families. They say with their tongues what is not in their hearts." Verse 12, "Nay, you thought that the messenger and the believers would never return to their families."
After the raid,
"This seemed pleasing in your hearts, and you conceived an evil thought. For you are a people lost in wickedness, worthless folk, doomed to perish. If any believe not in Allah and His messenger, we have prepared for them a blazing fire."
While it's good to be consistent, being consistently bad isn't good. This is the 20th time we have been told that Muslims who lead productive lives, who go about their business, who take care of their families, but who are not willing to leave their homes to fight on Muhammad's orders, are lost, wicked, worthless, doomed, and hell-bound. Satan, masquerading as the capricious black stone, shows his true colors in Quran 48:14.
"To Allah belongs the sovereignty of the heavens and earth. He forgives whom He wills. He punishes whom He pleases."
Only Satan would be pleased to punish. Returning to piracy and to plunder, the devil's advocate preaches,
Quran 48:15, Those who lagged behind will say, when you marched forth to capture booty in war, permit us to follow you. They wish to change Allah's decree to say, will you not march with us? Allah has declared this beforehand. Then they will say, nay, you are jealous and envious. Nay, but little do they understand.
Oh, I understand. There is no booty for bad, peace-loving Muslims. Booty is only for good Muslims, the jihad terrorist, so saith the Lord. And before we leave this divine pearl, notice the way it began. Muslims
marched forth to capture booty in war.
They did not go out to share the faith. Muhammad's militants were mercenaries, not missionaries.
Koran 48:16. Say, Muhammad, to the wandering,
thus free,
desert Arabs who lagged behind,
and thus were productive and peaceful.
You should be invited to fight against a people given to vehement war with mighty prowess. You shall fight them until they surrender and submit. If you obey, Allah will grant you a reward. But if you turn back as you did before, He will punish you with a grievous torture.
This may be the clearest definition yet of good and bad Muslims and their relative status. Bad Muslims are peaceful. They are against fighting. They will go to hell. Good Muslims are obedient jihad warriors, fighting until all infidels surrender, submitting to Islam. They are rewarded with booty and with Allah's brothel. Most merciful Allah grants the blind and lame a get-out-of-jihad free card. Since one must be blind to follow this lame religion, I'm surprised more Muslims don't take advantage of it.
Koran 48:17. There is no blame for the blind, nor is it a sin for the lame, nor on one ill if he joins not in the fighting. But he that obeys Allah and His Messenger will be admitted to gardens of bliss. He who retreats, Allah will punish him with a painful doom.
Somebody had a one-track mind. Obey me and fight, or go to hell. The Quran is as repetitive and irritating as a broken record.
Surah 48, verse 18. Allah's good pleasure was on the believers when they swore allegiance to you, Muhammad, under the tree. He knew what was in their hearts, and He sent down His Sakina to them, and He rewarded them with speedy victory.
No, He didn't. The swearing of allegiance under the tree preceded the capitulation at Hudaybiyah. There was no speedy victory, only dismay and anguish. The natives were restless, wanting to kill anything that moved. No wonder Team Islam can't get their Bible stories right. They can't even remember their own sorry history. Then, reconfirming that Islam was about money, the Quran's God makes armed robbery easy.
Koran 48:19. He rewarded them with abundant spoils that they will capture. Allah is mighty, wise.
And completely disgusting from a moral perspective.
Allah has promised you much booty that you shall take, and He has made this easy for you. He has restrained the hands of men from you, that it may be a sign for the believers, that He may guide you to a straight path.
To hell for stealing and murdering, which is precisely what all of this was about.
And other benefits which you have not yet obtained.
As we shall soon see, the only one who got booty from the victory over Mecca was Muhammad. He inherited his heart's desire, the Kaaba ink. All other Muslims lost ground, as future spoils were divided inequitably, unfairly favoring the new converts. I would be remiss if I didn't highlight the confession. Allah promised the Muslims
abundant spoils
and
much booty.
He did not promise them many souls. Islam wasn't about salvation or even conversion. It was about conquest and money. This is a political mantra, not a religious dogma. In Islam, war and terror were all in a day's work, standard operating procedure.
Quran 48, verse 22. If the unbelieving infidels fight against you, they will retreat. Such has been the practice approved of Allah in the past. No change will you find in the ways of Allah.
This next verse was handed down to excuse Muhammad's cowardice and capitulation at Hudaybiyah. It said that peace treaties could be used to lure an enemy into a false sense of security, so that Muslims might conquer them more readily.
Quran 48:24. It is he who restrained their hands from you, and your hands from them,
with the ruse of the Hudaybiyah treaty,
in the valley of Mecca, after he gave you the victory over them,
by breaking his commitment.